This is the Blend and Bond podcast number 1. We are your host. I'm Dan Mina.
I am Zamira Benson, aka Z. It's easier for everyone.
Z, that works for me. I like Zeke though.
Yeah, I know. Everybody likes Zeke better.
Yeah. It's definitely everyone calls you Z, and I'm like, I like Zeke. He's got that southern, little thing to him, and a little Dakota, Nebraska,
Little Dakota, that's
you
the
know,
truth.
like Zeke. All right. So today we're just here to introduce what we're going to be doing and ourselves as well. I am a cigar aficionado. Actually, I got a actual title now, Zeke.
What is
I'm
that
still
title?
trying to memorize it.
Yeah, there you go. I was
It's
gonna say.
certified cigar tobacconist sommelier. So certified cigar tobacconist sommelier. No, wait, something like that.
Sounds like a lot of words.
No, you know what? I got that wrong. See, I am trying to still remember it. Certified cigar sommelier tobacconist. There we go. CCST. So I get to put it's not MD, but I get to put him behind my name.
Folks, you earned that title by smoking a lot of tobacco and being able to answer 5 questions.
Thanks. It was definitely more than 5, but it was really cool. I was super confident in the course when I took it. But kind of questioning myself. I was like, do I know about cigars? Do I not know about cigars?
Mm.
And then what's really cool about the Tobacconist University, shout out to them, is that it's not just about cigars, it's tobacco in whole. It's the history of it, the culture of it, pipe tobacco. So it's really cool. And I can't wait to go on to the next step and get another few letters behind the name.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
so I've been smoking cigars since 2012. My first cigar was the My Father Flor de Antillas. At that time, I didn't even realize what I was smoking.
Mm.
Turns out that was the cigar of the year that year,
Mm.
which was super popular at the time for a cigar of the year because it was one of the first cigar of the years that was very inexpensive.
Mm.
I think it was like $9 at the time or $8 at the time.
Mm.
And it went crazy. People were like, what? $8, $9 cigar of the year, from Cigar Aficionado. So people going crazy. Now I own a cigar lounge here in Waterbury, Connecticut, the Commissioner's Cigar Lounge. I have a partner there. And now we're moving on to some online world, podcasting, online stores, and some subscription services with some other special stuff down the line. How about you, Zeke?
You know, shout out to Commissioner's Lounge. Shout out to Dan. You know, I want to be a CTS for fee, at some point in my life. But for now, I'm just almost 20 years in the game. I had my first cigar 2007. Um, I was living in DC at the time, and I met a Oliva rep
Oh.
at a strip club, nonetheless. And well, this is when you could still smoke in restaurants.
Yes.
Well, in tobacco states, so North
Mhm.
Carolina, Virginia, places like that, you could
I
smoke.
told you Zeke fits them. North
Listen,
Carolina, Virginia, all these southern places.
I used to be a nomad. I no longer live that lifestyle, but I was at a strip club, and this dude comes in with a suit on. He's got this fancy box and got this big cigar in his mouth, and he's smoking. I was like, "Give me one of those." And he was like, "Take the whole box." But that was my first cigar. It was an Oliva Serie V. It was the introduction of the line, actually. And unbeknownst to me at that time, I had no idea what I was actually smoking, just like you, right?
Yeah.
To look back and think this is a world-renowned cigar. In fact, that we'll get into a little bit later that they're picking up the cigar smoking championship role now. So, but I got into it. My grandfather was a smoker. He was a cigar smoker. Eventually went to pipes. And after he passed away, I was just looking for something, a piece of him.
Mm.
And so I came across cigars. I've always wanted to really get into it. Really didn't know what the heck I was doing, but you figure it out as you go along. Um, so yeah, I mean, I guess I'm what 17 years in the game now.
Wow, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty wild that, even just now in the first 4 minutes of our podcast, I find out something about you, and that's correlates to me is like we both smoked a cigar for our first cigar that at the time it's just okay, we're smoking a cigar. And they actually ended up being two of the most classic cigars there is.
Right.
The Oliva V is still winning awards, top two, top three almost every year. And the Florendias, now that 10th anniversary that came out in 2022, man, I love that thing. Comes in a little coffin. If anyone finds one, you can send it to me. I'll give you my address.
Don't tell anybody,
yeah,
but I got one from uh Ephraim.
Oh, yep.
Gave me one.
That's the last person that gave me one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's always good for you know, being very generous at giving you great cigars. Um, Speaking of cigars, let's go into our cigar of the day.
Yes, let's do that.
All right.
We
And
got
today we're smoking something special. We're smoking the Roma Craft Maestranza Valencia. Valencia is basically their name for their box press Toro. It's a 6x52. The Roma Craft Maestranza is a Mexican San Andreas. It's got a Brazilian binder and then a filler from 3 different countries: Nicaragua, Honduras, and the Dominican Republic. Now, we knew this cigar was pretty good already. If at my anniversary party for the Commissioner's Lounge, we gave out a box of these for a raffle. And Romacraft, shout out to Romacraft sponsoring our anniversary party. We had some really, really cool cigars that they gave us, and Skip also sent us some Segundos, some Wonderlust Segundos, all sorts of stuff. And if you know me, I smoke Romacraft Segundos all day long because I love them. To me, they're not Segundos; they are just as good as the original. But the Maestranza, which actually originally came out as a limited cigar, was a Craft McKay, came in 5 packs in a different Vitola that select stores are got, but the the want for these cigars, the demand for these cigars was so high that he created it into a full line. Now, we're in the beginning of January, and obviously a lot of the Cigar of the Year lists have come out, and the Maestranza has won Cigar of the Year from Half Wheel, and it's also won Cigar of the Year from a couple other publications as well. Roma Craft, their factory Nica Sueño in Nicaragua, actually won Factory of the Year from Half Wheel as well. So shout out to Roma Craft, and I can't wait to cut and light this. So
Shout out to Half Wheel for living outside the box, right?
yeah.
You know, we watched that video the other night, and I'm tired of seeing the same damn cigars
Mm-hmm.
on the same top 25 list. Like, get
Yeah,
over it.
absolutely. So that was really cool. So Zeke and I smoke outside, and when I say outside, we're in the Northeast here, right? So last week, the temperature was floating around 20 degrees all week, lows of like 15, 17. We're on his back deck smoking. Sounds crazy, right? But this dude's got a little Northeast hack over here. He's got a ice shanty that you would use for ice fishing. He's got it on his deck. These things are insulated. We got a table in there, pool table, dartboard. No, just kidding. But
Almost.
couple chairs,
Thought about
and then just a small little heater. And dude, that thing is like sweltering after a while. We had to open the windows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you live in the Northeast, $100 on Amazon
It gets you a long way.
it gets you a long way, And hopefully we get a promo code there for get some kickback on that Amazon purchase. So let's go with this cut and light.
Let's do it.
I'm going straight I am a straight cutter pretty much all the time.
I like the punch. Recently gotten away from it. Who I forgot who I was with, but I was cutting a cigar. Oh, Arturo.
Mm,
Shout out to Arturo. Down at Prime Tobacconist in
hmm
Milford, Connecticut. Um, he said, "Man, give me that thing," and he just. I was like, "All right, well, there go, there goes my adventure." Um, but it was having a pull issue,
Ah,
and once we cut it, um, it did help out quite a bit. So I have been sticking to the straight cut. Um, Shout out to Nub for this amazing cutter here. I mean, I could clip my nails with this thing.
mm.
Uh-oh, he's already into it, guys. Good lord. One of the things I do when I after I cut is I blow the tip. Do you blow the tip or do you tap it or do you just eat the tobacco?
I give it a little brush.
Okay, you give it
Yeah.
a brush. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'll try the
So
brush this morning.
I do. My cut is very like just a sliver, right? It's literally just a cap. I actually pride myself on cutting just enough where you're not even getting really much filler falling out, but that touch is just to get any loose tobacco out and not get it in my mouth or teeth or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, nothing like swallowing some tobacco first thing in the morning.
It is from the first couple puffs, man. You can tell this cigar is going to be one hell of an experience.
Mm.
Mm.
Not too, I like the cedar. The first taste is, one of the worst things I think is when you light a cigar and you get too much oak or too much cedar or too much of any flavor. Honestly, has a balance.
Mm.
You get a little sweetness, you get some of that cedar.
Yeah, not overly
Mm-mm.
uh, peppery. The retro is phenomenal. Um, it is.
Mm.
I'm speechless right now. It's actually probably the fifth one I've had this year. But this is actually the best one right now.
Mm.
Yeah, and and they've all been good, but for some reason, this one just took the words out of my mouth and is. I'm almost gonna forget that I'm on a podcast here
Yeah,
and enjoy this cigar because
yeah, and it's very rare Dan is without words. FYI, but he's making some noises.
yeah, a
I'm
little baker's spice in there. That's really, really calling to me.
Baker
But
Spice.
yeah, we'll get more into this cigar and enjoy it. But you touched on a few things that I actually was our first topic of the day, and that is our cigar routines. And actually, I just noticed that I was kind of far from my microphone for a few moments,
Oh, I
so
could still
I
hear
should
you.
be much clearer now. But your cigar routine, like your cigar pre-light routine, how do you go through your cigar? Z, I know I got some specific things that I do, and these things could be different for everybody. There's no right or wrong with this type of stuff. There's some
Right.
stuff that's wrong,
I was gonna say, if you light
but
it backwards, that might not
yeah,
be too good.
yeah, but walk us through your cigar routine.
Absolutely. You know, the hardest part of my routine is actually finding a cigar to smoke.
Oh,
I do like to keep, as you know, you've been to my humidor. I like to keep a nice array of things. And I'll have a flavor for something, and I'll pull it out, and then I'm like, nah, I don't want that. So the hardest part is actually finding a stick. Once I do find a stick, I rest them
mm,
20, 30, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. I always test to see where it's sitting. I like to smoke mine anywhere between 65 and 68.
okay.
Some people like 70, 71, as Sergio calls it. You guys will meet Sergio one of these days. But we'll keep him in the background for now.
Yeah, yeah.
He likes his soft, as he says, like 71, 72.
Yeah, he does. He's
Yeah.
yeah, he likes a squishy cigar, a little moist in there. Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely more of a 65 guy. Um 65, 67 is the sweet spot for me. But then again that changes too. I in the winter I actually like it a little higher.
Mm,
In the summer I like it around that.
yeah.
Um as far as routines, though, well, how about your cut and light experience? What do you go through? We just
Yeah.
watched you do a little bit, and I actually, for the first time, didn't see you. Maybe because it's the first day on the podcast and stuff like that. But you didn't do some of the stuff that you normally do.
Yeah, because I'm kind of excited here. Because actually I do like this cigar as well. I had one before, and then when you said we were smoking one for the podcast, I was super excited about it because it was really like it was a really good cigar. Because don't let your nose deceive you because the initial smell is like I don't know if I'm gonna like that, but I lit it up and I smoked it. And I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I cut usually a punch. I've gotten back to the straight cut. I cold draw, big time cold draw, and sometimes I'll smell the foot. Now, earlier on the video, you'll see me smelling the foot, and I'm sure people are like, "What is that guy doing?" I like the foot flavors because
He's a foot guy.
I am a foot guy. Watch your feet, ladies. Watch, yeah, tuck your toes in, B. Shout out to Aisha, by the way. But
uh,
that was a moment yesterday.
oh,
But I like the foot. I like to smell the foot flavors because when you get those sweetness and those fruity flavors and those florals, you're gonna get a precursor when you smell that foot. Like because sometimes you'll get that dark raisin type smell, which will present itself as maybe plum, or some type of dark fruit, dried fruit.
yeah, that's actually right now. It's weird that you're saying that because right now I'm getting that through this light fruitiness, and really almost no pepper from what I'm
Mm-mm,
feeling right now,
mm-mm.
and
Don't mind us.
a little bit nutty.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
But yeah, I'll smell the foot. I'll take a cold draw or two. I'm a heavy toaster.
Okay.
I'm a heavy toaster. Some people just stick it right in and start smoking.
Mm-hmm.
I like to toast and then get my light.
Yeah, and sorry to cut you off,
No, you're
but
fine.
for those who aren't familiar with the term toasting, so when you're lighting your cigar and you have that lighter or match or whatever you're doing, it's good to get around and literally toast the tobacco evenly. And I mean this without hitting the flame, right? Because once the flame hits there, you're like burning it, right? Think like toasting a marshmallow, right? When you toast a marshmallow properly, you're above the color of the flame, nice heat, and trying to get it nice caramelized all around, as opposed to touching it and now you're in a Dennis the Menace situation where the thing's on fire and you're trying to flick it away.
Right.
So
Right.
that's the toasting process, but go ahead.
Once I get a good toast, I'll light. And generally my first draw is a very strong retrohale because I want to feel that there's some cigars that I've lit where the best part of that cigar was that first draw.
Mm, mhm.
The absolute I mean and it stinks to have to say that for some sticks, but that's the truth. The first 5 minutes might be the best part of that whole cigar.
That is, that's interesting because 'cause I've been in that situation a few times where it's deceiving. It's like,
Mhm.
"Oh, this thing is about to be a banger," and
Right.
then it's
Bum, ba-da-dum.
like fizzles out, zzz,
Yep. Done
and
deal.
that was the best part,
Yep.
you know?
Done deal.
Someone smoked a cigar yesterday that was the opposite because you get the opposite sometimes. They're like, "Oh, it starts off kinda, eh." And then it kicks in, and it's like the changing of flavors is the best part. The
Yeah.
rest and maybe that first light wasn't so great.
Absolutely.
This right here, I'll tell you, this first light's been really good, and the first half inch, quarter inch that I'm through has been phenomenal so far.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Absolutely.
Jesus, Romacraft, cut it
And,
out.
tell me about it.
Actually, don't cut it out.
Right. Keep it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bad girl.
So I'll go through my routine a little bit. So, like I said, I am a straight cutter. I used to V, I used to punch. There's only one punch actually I like. It's actually on your lighter over there. That is my favorite punch. It's my favorite size punch. Um, I got beat for my lighter like that, So soon I'll have to beat Zeke for his.
Shout out to Old Glory here. Old
You've
Glory.
had that for a minute since
Oh,
I met you.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, 2 years.
Yep.
I mean, and she looks like it.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
has
she's
been
been
on
beat
the
up.
street corner and back.
So the reason I like that punch is it's because it's bigger.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a few cigars that I'll use that punch for, but for the most part, I'm straight cutting. When I straight cut, I'm cutting literally a sliver. You can see, I don't know where my cut went, but
Right.
it's just a sliver, and I'm not hacking off. Look at that thing. Look at that thing. It's just a cap, It's like Indian style. Straight scalped.
He maimed it. He maimed it.
So, so, um, but I love getting full mouth of smoke with my draws. So once I cut it, I'll take a cold draw here or there. Sometimes I don't even do that. I'm an ADHD dude, so sometimes I get impatient. I'll just go right to my toasting and then remember, like, I didn't take a cold draw. You know?
You're not a foot guy at all?
Yeah. No, not really.
Okay.
No, I'll smell the body
Sure.
most of the time. And I don't know, dude. I'm impatient. I love smoking a cigar. I can't wait to get to the smoke.
Listen.
So then I go into my toasting, and that is the thing where I take the most time. All right.
Mm,
You can literally ruin your cigar
mhm.
by lighting it incorrectly there, in my opinion. Some people will say, you can barely taste it, this and that. But, you know, the flavor profiles of a cigar are based on the construction, the combustion, the oils that those tobaccos are going to produce. Now, we're actually both chefs in previous lives.
That's a fact.
And if you are a chef or you cook in the kitchen, what happens when you heat up your oil too hot? It starts to get the smoke point, it starts to change the flavors, it starts to break down. It's not good, right? So it's the same thing for a cigar. You heat it up too much, you're going to change the intended flavors of the manufacturer. So my toast process is my most important process. And once I put that in my mouth, I should really only have to touch that lighter once to get some heat into the cigar.
Mm.
All right. And from there, we're off to the races. And after that, my first puff is usually a big retro hail as well. And I love retro hail. I retro hail most of my cigar anyway. But that first one lets me know, like, is this going to be a tough one to retro hail
Yeah.
from? Like super peppery. I'm going to be,
Yeah.
little harsh, little diesel like stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Shout out real quick to Guy Fieri for really naming a cigar that is legit. The knuckle sandwich. You go ahead and retrohale that on the first pull. You're getting punched in the throat.
I'm gonna say that was a chef shout out there.
Yeah,
Okay,
just a little bit,
okay,
just a
okay.
little bit, a
Just,
little bit.
just making sure we're on the same page there. Like, I thought I was ADHD. Like, shout out to Guy Fieri. So no, yeah, the knuckle sandwich, great line as well. So some obscure cigar routines that I just wanted to throw out there. Not even obscure, just little things that people may or may not do. Do you have a preferred hand?
Aha! The question. No,
Yeah.
no. Now to that, I'll ask you a question. Do you have a preferred hold?
Yes, this is my hold.
Okay.
So, it's my pointer finger, my middle finger on top, my thumb resting, and then my ring finger just underneath it.
Okay.
I never noticed that part of it
Sure.
until recently, but it's not just the three. This one rests, and it just helps me keep it in. Like, I feel like this I have to try more to hold. There's more muscles in my hand.
Sure.
This is a more relaxed thing, and it kind of just sits there for me. Um, and also I have a hand. I'm a left-handed smoker.
Really?
I don't know if that's a product of phones with my right hand
Could be.
or and then I say that, I guess that's my preferred hand. But
Mhm.
if I'm sitting at a chair with the ashtrays on the right hand or right side of me, I'll probably hold it in my right hand.
Sure.
But for the most part, I'm a left-handed smoker, which I don't do shit with my left. So it was pretty wild I was like, oh man, I hold this like this naturally with my left hand.
My
And it
dream.
feels good. So how about, well, I guess I could answer this already. Label on, label off,
Label on.
label on.
Label on. I've learned to let the heat warm the glue.
For sure.
Right.
Mhm.
I have stripped
Mhm.
some cigars down.
Yeah, and then Skip Martin, I love you. Mike Rosales, I love you. Roma Craft, you are the best, in my opinion, top to bottom brand from your EC and Temperance all the way to the Neanderthal and everything in between.
Yes, Lord.
But if I had one beef with y'all,
Uh-oh.
it's the wrappers, man, or the labels are tough to get off sometimes.
They are.
And I've definitely ripped a few leaves, few wrapper leaves trying to take these off. I've gotten to the point where I know it's gonna be a little tough. Sometimes you're peeling that, and it's like layers of paper before
Right.
it comes off.
It's like the aluminum foil that gets messed up. You
Yeah.
got to unwind that strip.
Yeah. So I'm a label on guy. That simply might just be because I'm a bougie bitch and I want people to see what I'm smoking.
He's definitely a bougie bitch.
So I just love it. I think it looks better. Maybe I'll get to the point. I own a cigar lounge, so my average age of friend is like 70 and retired. And
This is true.
sorry. And you know what? They all take their labels off. But I think that's something that comes with age and wisdom. And it's like, I'm smoking a cigar. I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm not gonna deal with it later. I'm gonna just smoke this whole thing down.
And see, we come up in a generation where it's like people are looking at your label.
Yeah.
Just like your shoes, right?
Yeah.
Or your chain or something. What you
Mhm.
got? Well,
So,
glad you asked.
and then I'll watch our friend Neil. He buy a cigar. It could be $100 Ometepe. He wraps that
Stripping
up,
it
takes
naked.
that thing, takes the Ometepe label off,
Yep.
and ready to smoke. And he's going into it.
Yep.
Yep.
But you gotta appreciate the blending of like you say the average age of our friends in the lounge is 70, which is I love it, right? Because I was very close to my grandfather, so I blend with them like they were my age or I was their age, right?
Yeah. Now let me be clear. Not the average age of the people that come in, because we have a really, really diverse crowd at the cigar lounge. All ages, all ethnic groups, both sexes, everything. And I just gravitate to those older, wise gentlemen,
The old owls.
the old owls
Yes.
that we can have some cool storytelling, and it's really cool listening to the guys like that.
Absolutely.
But it also tough too, because these guys' lives, they're retired.
Yeah.
They smoking. I'm just lucky that I have a cigar lounge that I can smoke in.
Right.
But I gotta stay on the grind. I can't relax as much as these guys. This is all they know is relax.
Right.
Like,
Right. I think the hardest part of their day, like for Neil, is peeling a label.
yeah. I mean, he does some other stuff too, but yeah. That's wild. So, yeah, it goes on to cigar routine. Next thing we want to talk about is some of our favorites. But before we do that, we're gonna bring one more person on,
Let's do that.
and we're gonna bring our partner D. Dave Taft. Come on up.
Unc Especial. Unc Especial. All right, get your hand off my knee.
All right.
Easy.
All right.
Oh, Diddy.
So to Zeke's left, we have Dave Taft. Dave, welcome to the podcast.
Yo, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
And we got something really cool starting here. Blend and Bond, and we have a group of guys that blend very well and have bonded very well. And we're going to be talking coffee blends, cigar blends, the bonds between those, the bonds between coffee and cigars, whiskey and cigars, spirits and cigars, the bond between people and cigars. And that's what this is all about. But our main thing that we're about is cigars, right? And we're going to talk some favorites. First question I want to ask, I'm going to ask it to Zeke first to give Dave some time to think about it. And, I don't even know the answer to this yet, but Zeke is pretty good at these. What's your top 3 favorite cigars, Zeke?
Top 3 cigars. After yesterday, a lot changed. Just a little backdrop. We smoked a 2010 Liga Privada yesterday, which was I'm on air, so I can't get too in depth here. But top 3 cigars. First is going to be the Oliva V series or Serie V, excuse me. Number 2 of that top 3 is going to be Perdomo 10th anniversary sun grown.
Okay.
That that cigar touches my heart.
All right. It's a
And
good one. 2 great ones so far.
yeah, and number 3, I'm gonna give you a shout out here, Drew. I fell off the wagon a little bit. Everybody was on that Liga line for a while, as was I. I even tried some of his lower stuff. We had that Nightshade.
Yeah, we
That
had
was
a
an
good
experience.
experience with
Yeah.
the Nightshade.
Yep.
Specifically tasting the Nightshade, and like I said, we were both chefs previously, so pairings is something we do very well, or at least try to. And we were randomly smoking the Nightshade that he picked up, and he was like, "Let's try, pairing it." So we went through a few things, and I forgot what we ended up on, but I nailed it.
Tequila. It was So we started. I got the it was like a berry, like I forget, like a cider type deal.
Yeah.
It was like a wild berry cider, and then we ended up. You went in the back and came out with like this reposado tequila or something, and we were like, oh,
That's wild.
we
Yeah,
found it.
It was good. It
It
was
was
good.
good. It was really
So
good.
that's 2. Give me one more.
That's number 3. Liga number 9.
Okay.
Bellicoso specifically.
Oh, okay. All right. That's awesome. That was 3. Swing that mic to Dave.
I don't even know if I can catch up.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Nah.
Jeez. So we're going to 3. Not as that well knowledge base as you gentlemen on smoking cigars,
okay.
but I
He's
think
being very humble.
I think one of the ones that I actually enjoyed was my top would be that Palencia.
Presencia. Which one?
Palencia, which is the triangle shaped one at the bottom. With the pyramid type shape on there.
The black labeled
Yes.
one? Oh, yeah. So the Plasencia Alma Fuerte in the Solomon size. That's very interesting that you said that.
That
Oh,
is my
I'll tell you why.
birthday cigar.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very
Always
interesting.
my
that you said
favorite.
that.
I'll grab that one on my birthday.
Mhm.
See, that's the difference because I wouldn't have known all of that.
Yeah.
You know.
No, that's great. That's great. Yeah. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna let you continue because that one caught me off guard.
Second. Try so many different types. I think the Oliva as well.
The Oliva V.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would
Well,
definitely be my second.
you can't be wrong with that because the world says it too. It's like people have spoken.
And I think probably my third, just for a variety, I would have to say the different ones that they've came out with would have to be the Ezra.
Oh, okay.
For
Ezra's
the different ones,
all right.
like all the time. It's
some
most are hits.
I'm gonna
Most are hits.
I'm gonna say I'm surprised that Rude Boy didn't make your list.
Yeah, we do.
That is a go-to. You're
uh,
definitely right about that. That is one of my go-tos.
The upsetters.
That's
Rude
my
Boy.
vacation smoke right there.
Yeah. Oh,
Vacation time off. Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
gonna hit one
Little
of those.
Connecticut Broadleaf Rude Boy 660. That's awesome.
Now you got me rethinking.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about these is they're ever changing because cigars are coming out all the time, and we get to try new ones all the time. And there's always gonna be new favorites.
They're evolving.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, true.
Definitely. So, my list, and I hate doing this, and I only really even gave it thought, because we were doing this, and I'm such a transient person when it comes to what I like, with cigars, that it's hard for me to pick like my favorites, but I did. Number 1 would be the Aganorsa Supreme Leaf. I don't care what size, they're always banging. And if you know the Supreme Leaf, it comes out twice a year. Each time it comes out in a different size. Number 2 is the Saka Khan. from Dumbarton Tobacco. It's a Churchill sized Connecticut broadleaf. And number 3, this is why I was surprised you said that, is the Plasencia Almafuerte Solomon. Now, that cigar for me is one of my favorites because of how many times that cigar changes flavors, and it's always banging. So, the Solomon size alone, helps it change flavors because it's a little thinner than fatter and then thinner again. It's just a beautiful size. But where most cigars, you talk about in thirds, first third, second third, third third, I almost feel like that one has 4 distinguished changes in there. So it's like quarters for that cigar, and I love that cigar a lot. So that's my 3. Next question. Actually, before we even get to the next question, let's get a little background on Dave. Dave, how did you get to smoking?
Wow. I probably would go back to when my stepfather, he smoked a lot of cigars.
Uh-oh.
But the only good thing was he was smoking one of those working men cigars.
Ah,
So
okay.
you remember all the old school
Yeah,
ones? So
like
that's-
Dunhills.
yeah, White Owls and all
okay.
of that. He'll have a whole box of those that he would buy. And I remember he used to have those on top of his dresser. So that's kind of what it started off with, was that, that working man cigar. That would be what he had. And I remember I actually took him to the lounge for the first time and said, you know what, we're going to go ahead and get one of these hand rolled cigars for you and sit back and enjoy it. And he really had a really good time to sit back and really take the time to enjoy a cigar. So I think that's kind of where I got it. And then as I became older, I think maybe we're probably talking a good 12 to 15 years now. It could have started off with, like what I was saying, you guys started off with some banging cigars.
Yeah, by chance.
And
Mhm.
I couldn't say that. I had to probably say it started off with maybe a black and mild.
Oh, well, so I was a black and mild smoker. I don't even consider that as the cigar. So, I'm when I was thinking about that question, I was thinking about like a premium handmade cigar. But I'm from here in Waterbury, Connecticut. Man, I was smoking black and milds forever, wood tip, you know, and I still smoke. I bought one not too long ago, right? Where I just felt like having a black and mild, and it's little the scent of a black and mild to me is like nostalgic to me, and every once in a while I'll go get a wood tip black and mild and fire that baby up and throw some Jay-Z on and hit the streets.
Yeah, that's where it started from, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
think that black and mild was the first one that I smoked. And then after that, over time, not necessarily knowing like which was best, which was this,
Okay.
kind of just going into a store and then just grabbing one,
Mhm.
looked at it and said, hey, but it's a learning lesson. Sometimes you grab that cigar that might was a little too strong. And
Mm.
I'm like, maybe I picked the wrong thing of doing here is smoking this cigar. But
Yep.
then after a while, it's like, kind of like all of us probably did, is tried a lot of different cigars, found out what we liked, and then we went ahead with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I probably couldn't tell you what was the first band that I
Yeah,
smoked.
yeah.
I probably would say, if anything, it might have been a Gurkha.
Oh, okay, okay.
It might have started off with
Yeah,
a Gurkha then. I couldn't tell you which one, but it
Right.
might have been a Gurkha. Was probably my first cigar. That was the one that had a little name to it that people knew.
yeah, yeah,
Gurkha
yeah,
cigar.
Plus that face.
Yeah, yeah,
How
Gurkha
could you
cigar.
pass that thing up?
With the little sword on there,
Yeah.
It's like, so I think that was probably my first cigar that I actually smoked.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. So, next question on our favorites. I'll ask Zamira first. What's your favorite brand?
Favorite brand. My favorite brand, it's we brushed up, and I had to rethink a couple things. How about I have a 1 and then a 2.0? How's that sound? Because I can't.
Nope.
It's so okay.
Nope.
Fine. All
Rules
right.
are, what's your favorite
All right,
brand?
Fine.
1.
I'm gonna go with the Perdomo line. And I'll explain why briefly. In each level of their expertise, right? From their budget to their 10-year, to their 20-year, to their now 30-year. Each one of those lines has a heartfelt favorite of mine. And I can't say that about every major brand that I smoke.
Yep.
From Lot 23, the Maduro, if you want me to make you some ribs, grab me a couple of those sticks and everybody knows how my ribs go. But just a very awesome, very well composed stick.
What's the base price on the Lot 23
The
MSRP?
MSRP, I think, is something like $7.99.
Yep. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I mean, you'll find them. You'll find them in the stores for $8.60, $8.59, something like that.
Yeah, so it's it's a cigar Perdomo makes, sells a shit ton of them, and it doesn't break the bank. And it's pretty phenomenal,
It is. Yeah, the Lot 23, the Maduro will be my number one, and the Sungrown will be my number two in the Lot 23.
Yeah, so it looks like it's about $8 for a Robusto, $8.50 for a Toro, $9 for a Churchill. Now, this is, like I said, it's a stick that's, budget friendly. These things are aged. The tobacco's aged for 6 years prior to rolling on the Lot 23. So that's pretty amazing.
And also to shout out to Nick, senior and junior. I love you guys. I've seen your videos, but anyway, they draw test, every single cigar that leaves the factory, from the budget to the $100 cigar. Not one cigar is not draw tested. That speaks a lot.
Awesome. I don't think they make $100 cigar, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's Perdomo is known for their consistency, their quality, and that you have super classics like the 10th anniversary Champagne, the 20th anniversary Sungrown, the 20th anniversary and 10th anniversary Maduros are all phenomenal. I actually haven't smoked the 30th anniversary yet.
I haven't
which is
either.
crazy. So
I saw them
well,
one time and I haven't been able to find one.
Yeah. So, we'll have to get to that and talk about that, but I'm sure it's a banger as well. I know it took a little while to get out. It's supposed to come out, delays, which is super common. I mean, super, super common in the cigar industry when someone announces something, hey, coming out in September. No, it's not coming out in September. Never does. Something's going to happen. Something's going to jam up on the Panama Canal and it's not going to get here. Somebody printed the labels wrong on the boxes and there's a manufacturing issue with this, or, something crazy always happens, which is unfortunate, but also what the cigar industry is used to. So they adapt and move on every single time. And eventually the cigar comes out. Most recently, the one that I was really anticipating for a long time was Rick Rodriguez's West Tampa cigar company, his Circle of Life. Man, I remember seeing that, and hearing about that. I feel like it was a year and a half ago, or maybe over a year ago. And that just dropped like this past month. So, and the wait was worth it because the cigar is phenomenal. We've had it for a week at the lounge, and strictly stick sales, we've probably sold like 5 boxes so far. It's pretty wild. And we already had a following for West Tampa that we cultivated for the West Tampa Red, the white, and the black. Were already really good. Even the Attic series, the Maduro San Andreas, there was really good. So, and now he's just dropped the Circle of Life. Comes in Robusto, Toro, and the Gigante, they call it, but it's a Gordo 6x60. So it's really, really cool. But yeah, we got to try that 30th anniversary.
I'm so down.
Let's do it. Dave.
Yes,
I know I know you were probably thinking about this. He's like, oh shit, he's gonna save me next. What I got? What's your favorite cigar brand?
Favorite cigar brand. Oh man.
I feel like I could answer it for him.
You know what? And I might let you, and I'm gonna just shake my head and agree.
I'm gonna say Ezra Zion.
I'm gonna have to say that's a plus.
Yeah.
I think great cigars. I mean,
Mhm.
the line of cigars and the types that they came out with. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah, I got a love-hate relationship with them. You know,
Why is that?
I love their cigars. I hate that they don't make a lot of them. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, they drop. So they drop often, 4 to 5 times a month. Very limited batches, anywhere from 300 to 600 cigars each time, and you either get them or you don't got them. And that's it. And then they're hitters every time.
Yeah. And you end up being like a fiend. Like, I gotta get the next
Yeah,
cigar.
yeah.
I gotta get that next cigar when it comes out.
Yeah, it's they
So
they
those are the pluses to it.
they took the Supreme model of wanting that small batch allocation and then doubled down, and like you don't want to miss out on them, right? It's like they're going to sell out. They're bangers, so you want to keep buying them. But then, like I said, they drop them 4 to 6 times a month sometimes. It's like, well, I got a lot of 5-packs.
It's like the McRib, right? Why are you psychologically playing games with us, Ezra?
Yeah, seriously.
It becomes that need. You're looking for it.
Right,
It's
right.
like who's got them? Who's got them?
Yeah,
Who's got those? Got to start making phone calls around here, trying to figure out who got.
for real. For real. I'm sitting on some Ezras. They're going to be sitting for a while to break those out when later, when they're all gone. Secondary,
And then they'll become unicorns. Like,
seriously. I got one last question for you, Dave.
go ahead.
And if you could smoke one cigar for the rest of your life, only one, what would it be?
Wow, you're killing me right this.
Mhm. We asking the tough questions here on the Blended Podcast, episode 1.
I'm gonna have to go with that.
The Placencia Alma Fuerte.
I gotta
Okay.
get that right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with that. I think it's because it's something I made to myself. That's that perfect cigar to me. And it means something. Like I said, that's my celebratory cigar right there. Anything that I'm doing big, that's the one I want to go to. And it's a nice long smoke.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna sit back and really take my time and enjoy that.
I like the pick.
Yeah, it's not gonna be something small. I'm gonna enjoy it. Like you said, if I gotta pick one and that's it, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
All right. Zeke?
What you got?
I'm gonna go. Oh, such a tough question. But I'm gonna go with the Series V. In the Robusto size.
All right.
5
Wow,
by.
so he picked a. You know what? I should have gave a caveat. You could smoke the cigar, one cigar, and it could be any other sizes, but just the cigar you smoke.
Okay, yeah, all right.
And the Series B.
Series V.
All right, yeah, because Figurado is great. This, that,
Absolutely.
the Double Toro or Robusto. I'm gonna give my answers for both of the questions that we asked. So my favorite cigar brand, we're smoking it right now, Roma Craft. I don't think there's a company in the industry that has the balance of everything that they do, from the quality and consistency of their cigars. They're obviously the flavor of the cigars, the flavor profiles, and most importantly, the budget. Their cigars go from $7 to, on average about 7 to 14 on the high end, right? They got a couple cigars that crack that 14. But those are their like the Quinquagenario, which was a limited cigar, was a little bit more than 14.
Phenomenal
But
smoke, by the
everything
way.
in there falls in like, average about $10. Now, from their flavor profiles, like I spoke a little bit about already, you have the EC Intemperance, which is their Ecuadorian Connecticut shade. So their most mild cigar, but it is full of flavor. This isn't just a Connecticut that's airy. This thing is gonna change. It's gonna have great cedar, great nuttiness, great creaminess. Uh, then you go through them, like if you're looking mild, medium, full, and you go into their um, Volstead line, which is the Ecuadorian Sumatra. One of my favorite lines that is now discontinued was the BA Intemperance, which is their Brazilian Arapiraca, which I got a bunch of Mode 5s left, which I'm still happy about. Um, Another discontinued line, well, the original discontinued, now it's just changed over, which was the Cro Magnum, which was a Connecticut broadleaf, which I absolutely loved, right? Now, a lot of people were heated that they went away from that. But here's why they went away from it. Their quality is so high that they said, "You know what? We're just not getting good enough Connecticut broadleaf to put our Romacraft name on it. We're gonna switch it up." You know, the broadleaf's not what it used to be in their opinion, so they're gonna switch it up. And what did they switch it up to? They switched it up to a much more approachable Pennsylvania broadleaf. So where the Cro Magnum was those deep, dark chocolate flavors, that espresso, a little bit of mineral saltiness. Now you got this Pennsylvania broadleaf that tones it down a little bit, but and it's more approachable to, I think, more smokers, but still very distinct in its flavor. And then you go from there to the Aquitaine line. That's got a little more kick there, and then ultimately to their Neanderthal line, which is known for that what's it, the Green River Valley Sucker, I think it's called. It's out of Pennsylvania. It's a ligero that they use inside their Neanderthals. You want a strong cigar, nice ass kicker that's still super flavorful and not gonna like knock you on your ass. It can't knock you on your ass if you empty stomach and all. But the Neanderthal's it, and I think that brand is phenomenal. And then obviously their newest core line, the Maestranza, is making waves everywhere right now. That's my favorite brand. Now, as far as if I can smoke one cigar, I go back to my top three. It's the Aganorsa Supreme Leaf. And that's why I threw in like, hey, it could be any of the sizes.
Right.
So I don't care if it's the Rothschild or the Perfectos, the Supreme Leaf, and I did say, excuse me, I did say I'm not much of a pepper guy. Um, there's certain peppers I like, and that pepper from the Corojo 99 on the Aganorsa Supreme Leaf is one of my favorite things. You know, so those are our favorites. Let's do a little check-in here, though. A little check-in on this cigar where everyone's done about their first third. Zeke is a power puffer, so he's into his second third. But if you can recall, what was your experience with the first third? What'd you think?
Yeah, really good, very smooth, very balanced. Um, I got notes of a little bit of like you said earlier, baking spices, which kind of switched over to like a white pepper. Um, just a slight bit more harsh, not as palatable as a cayenne or red pepper flake, but more on the white pepper side. Got a little grandma's basement, and we talked about this the other night. I cannot put a finger on what that really is as a flavor, but just that nice, rich, fermented basement
Yeah,
odor, if you will.
I get what you're saying, and I was following you the other night. You know, and cool thing about taste and flavor profiles is unique to everyone. And if you like grandma's basement, do you, boo? you know.
No, it's just I think when you really boil it down, it's kind of like a mix of like a umami, like a fermented umami type flavor. I call it grandma's basement because on the retro hail, it's very reminiscent
hmm
of a moist, that old home built in the 1800s, dirt basement. Just
No, I hear you. I'm
Yeah.
just trying to put it together in your cigar. No, but I get it. I get it. I've heard that before. It's not, you're not the first person to say something like that. So,
but otherwise, yeah, some notes of chocolate.
definitely chocolate.
Um,
Here's one for you. I don't know if you've picked this up, but I get a little citrus in there. There's a little in that first stir. There was a little
Yes.
citrus in there.
Yep.
Definitely the chocolate. I didn't taste white pepper. It was honestly more like a very mild black pepper to me. But you know, everyone's palate's different. There's no right or wrong. What you like about a cigar can be different than what I like about a cigar.
But I did brush my teeth this morning, so
There you go.
I might do it too.
You know, well, I hope so. Thank you for doing that. And then I'll finish off the first third. I got some really nice cedar notes in there
Yes.
as well. So that was pretty cool. You know, we are gonna bring in one more person. And Dave, I thank you for joining us for the first one.
No, it was a pleasure.
And I can't wait to do this more. It's our first one. We're checking our equipment. Somehow I got for one of my XLR wires because we do have another microphone sitting over there. So sorry you guys had to share it, but next time we'll have all 3 mics. Actually, I even have the capability for 4, 5, 6 mics, so we can have someone on a phone or on a Bluetooth or on a wireless mic, all connected to this. So look out for that as we progress through this podcast. This is the first one. This is really a test run for us. This is our first time doing this together. And I love it because it feels like we have already been doing it, and I can't wait to do more. Thanks, Dave. And
It was a
next,
pleasure, guys. Thank you.
absolutely.
We're gonna talk about that grandma's basement.
Yeah,
later.
seriously.
I don't know.
I want to hear
where
more
that
about
came
that.
from.
I want to hear more about
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna talk about that. I don't know what took place in grandma's basement.
All right. And joining us now, another member of the Blend and Bond team is none other than Carl Steiner. What's up, Carl?
Hey Dan, how you going?
Very
Good to be
well,
here.
very well. Awesome. Glad to have you here, brother.
Oh, good to be here.
Yeah, man. How you enjoying this Mastranza?
Loving it.
Love it, huh? So remember I said someone won a box of Mastranza at our anniversary party? It was that guy. He won them. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
a 40 count box too. It was like, what? You know, $400 value box or more, I think. And he was the lucky winner to take it home. And you know, we should have smoked his today.
Yeah,
Well, I do gotta remind you, I gave like one to every friend.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He opened that box up, and I think before he even left the party, 20 of those 40 were gone, you know?
Yeah. Close to.
And that's just a testament to who Carl is. He's a very nice guy and always willing to give. And he's always looking out for his friends. And that's exactly why he's part of this team here. Carl, let's know a little about you, about your little cigar smoking, how you got started
Well,
in it.
Growing up, as a kid, my grandfather always smoked. He was the White Owl, the Garcia Vega, Macanudo, I think.
Oh, wow.
So I just remember those smells in the house, and he
Yeah.
also did pipe tobacco. So just that aroma going out to my grandparents' house, you know, and Zeke, my grandfather, they had a dirt basement. Okay, so
Yeah.
thanks for bringing me back to that childhood. But
That's
down there in his basement, it was a workshop.
okay.
So
That's awesome. Heck yeah. Do you remember what your first cigar was?
I'll have to say, really smoking. Like I'd smoke at either a bachelor party
Yeah.
or when some friends they had kids. Well, once I really started smoking more cigars about 5 years ago, and the first one was a New World torpedo,
Okay. Oh, all right.
and
Classic.
from there, it
Off
just
to the races.
yeah. So I'll have to say, I know the question is going to come for favorites.
Yeah. No, we won't even give you that. We won't even give you. You want to answer? You can answer it.
I
We got
can
other
give you a
questions for
couple.
you. Go ahead.
Definitely the New World.
New World. Okay.
Monte,
So the New World red labeled one.
Actually, there I would do the box press, the red,
Yep. The box rest, they'll go
but
outdoor, it's called.
the one with the tan label, the torpedo, or like a torpedo, I
Yeah,
think it
yeah,
is.
yeah. With the green?
No,
No.
got the tan
Oh,
label.
just the tan. Yes, yes, yes. The come on. Come on. It's right next to them. The Dorado.
Yeah.
Yep. New World Dorado in the Perfecto. That thing is a great cigar. I actually haven't smoked that in a while. I'm gonna have to put that on my list for smoking soon. Because when it came out, I was smoking the hell out of them. And then, you know, there's just so many cigars, especially when you own a cigar lounge. There's things coming out all the time. There's samples getting thrown at you. Bop, bop, smoke this, smoke this, smoke that. So, you tend to like have to circle back eventually to other cigars. But
Yep.
that New World Dorado is a great one. Yeah. All right. What else? What else you got?
The Monte Cristo Especial.
Okay. All right. Well,
That
money's in the house.
that is pretty much like special occasions.
Mm.
Um, and of course now this one right here.
Oh yeah. Norma Craft Maestranza. Yep. And you know what? The Valencia here, this Toro version is super, super good. Like, it's a nice. I mean, we've been smoking it for over an hour right now, right about an hour. Um, that means Zeke's almost done with it somehow. And I'm in that second third now. I did have to relight once, but not because of the cigar. That was because trying to juggle doing this podcast for the first time here and smoke the cigar. I forgot to hit puff it. Damn it. So our next topic though that we want to talk to you, Carl, about, and Zeke, is pairings. So we are the Blend and Bond podcast, Blend and Bond. Um, online store, Blend and Bond monthly subscription, cigar subscription. Within that, we talk about blends and bonds between the people, like we've said, and the blends and bonds between cigars and other things. So I'll ask Zeke first. What are some of your favorite cigar pairings? And they could be anything: food, beverage, spirit. What do you got there?
Sure, sure. I'm not a big eater and smoker at the same time.
Yep, yep.
Either before or after for that part.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
in terms of it depends on the smoke I'm having.
Mhm.
I'm a Maduro, Nicaraguan, puro freak, right? So it's got to be something spicy, something kind of sweet. Um, but bourbon, um, and I've been on this kick lately with this Connecticut Distillery. Oh,
Yeah.
the charred.
The Charred Connecticut Distillery.
Shout out to Connecticut Distillery.
Yep. Shout out to Dim.
Big shout out to you guys. Do you see? I see you guys. All right. And that charred, I see you. I'd love to have a bottle right here
Yeah.
to
So,
show.
so the Charred isn't actually a bourbon. It's a blended whiskey, if you will, made from expired hops. So not expired as in date, like expired as in used, to hops that are made to make stouts and different beers, and then they take those and ferment them and make spirits from them. Incredible brand right here out of Connecticut, right here out of Waterbury, Connecticut. And the Charred is super unique. The Charred is like nothing
You've ever
on the
had.
market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think it really lends well to cigars because there's a lot of flavor, like progression. There's sweetness. There's all sorts of things in the Charred from Connecticut Distilling. So I can see why you would like that with cigars.
Yeah, absolutely. And if it in early day, I'll definitely have a black coffee like I'm having now.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever smoke I'm having, honestly, just
Mhm.
because I'd say a good 60% of cigars that I have in my box have some sort of an espresso or coffee compound. Because it's just one of my favorite flavors. I love bitter flavors.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm gonna go bourbon, whiskey, and coffee
Okay.
are my top three. Yeah.
All right. Carl, how about you?
For me, excuse me, I definitely got to say bourbon,
Mm-hmm.
coffee, um, probably just about those two.
Okay.
Those
Yeah,
are my
yeah.
preferred.
Yeah. I mean, they're classics. Can't mess with the classics. You have a specific bourbon that you like?
Um,
The next one? No. Like,
well, I would say whatever bottle is available.
yeah, there you go.
I do like Elijah Craig.
Mm.
Um, let's see. There's so many.
Yeah,
There's
for
so many
sure.
delicious ones.
For sure.
But Bullet is good,
Okay. All right.
and we just got a new one down at my VFW post. It's Old Soldier or something.
Ah, might have to try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So, I'm a big pairings guy. Um, I have a little bit of routines when it comes to my pairings. So my morning smoke, mid-morning smoke is usually something a little lighter. Um, could be a Connecticut shade, but doesn't have to be. I like Sumatras in the morning as well. Um, but it's the only time I take cream and sugar in my coffee with a cigar, my morning one for some reason. So that first one I don't have black. I don't like to bitter out my taste buds immediately during the day. So the cream and a sugar kind of help that. Starts it a little lighter. I know that I'm going to smoke multiple cigars through the day, so I got to progress into the deeper flavors. So I start like that. Bourbons for sure, right? I love bourbon with a good Nicaraguan cigar, a good San Andreas Maduro, a good Connecticut broadleaf. That's usually where I'm having my bourbons with. If I'm having one of those deeper cigars, I want a deeper bourbon, a Woodford or something like that, a Woodford Double Oak. That's a great one for me. Um, I like the Fort Hill by Connecticut Distilling. It's actually my favorite bourbon to make an old fashioned with. I think it's a perfect balance for mixing an old fashioned. So, again, another shout out to Connecticut Distilling. They make some great stuff, so try that out. Fort Hill Bourbon or their Continuum, or their Connecticut Distilling Charred. Now I'm going to give you an obscure one, and this one is I'm probably gonna get smacked up in the comments for this because it's technically taboo for cigars. So about midday, um, maybe a little later afternoon when I'm smoking my cigars, and I feel my taste buds getting, I'm running through cigars through the day. I'm a 3 to 4 to 5 cigar smoker a day. Um, I like a chocolate milk. Now, the
Boo.
so
What are we, 12?
so hear me out. Damn.
Listen.
So the dark notes of a broadleaf or a Maduro San Andreas or all these cigars, the Nicaraguan puros, you know, give you these deep dark chocolate flavors, espresso, coffee, this and that. And I like bringing it back with a little bit of the sweetness and the creaminess of chocolate milk. Now, why I say it's taboo is milk is actually one of the things that people tell you not to smoke cigars with, right? Because the lactose, um, the milk coats your taste buds. So you can technically, they say you can't taste your cigars well. Like I said, I'm smoking multiple throughout the day. So I'm kind of playing a little bit of a balance with my taste buds throughout the day. It sounds crazy, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, the whole thing, the whole process, because I'm thinking about my cigar day like this crescendo and keeping it, decrescendo and just keeping it even and making,
A day in the life of Dan.
yeah. So, it is what it is. Chocolate milk. Don't knock it till you try it. Get a nice dark cigar. Crow Magnum, the original Crow Magnum from Aroma Craft. have a nice chocolate milk, not Nesquik, not Nesquik.
Okay, because
Hear
that
me
was
out.
going to be my
No,
question to you.
no,
That was going to be my question. So with your chocolate milk,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
What is your top? What are you going to go to? Like what?
Well, if I can find like an organic chocolate milk, great. But there's some good dairies that make chocolate milk, and it's just not Nesquik. Nesquik, the sugar in there just overpowers, and you're not really tasting anything. But I don't even know if it's sugar. It's probably high fructose corn syrup, right? Yeah, yeah. So that's a different animal. And that actually even coats your mouth differently because I think they have other, emulsifiers in there
Chemical.
that aren't great.
No bueno.
So I'm talking a real like chocolate milk made with cocoa. And I think it balances really well with strong cigars, even if it's a salty cigar. So that's why I keep saying like Connecticut Broadleaf, San Andreas Maduro, that salty and sweetness play with the chocolate milk, really, really love. Food wise, um, I'll have a nice steak with a nice full-bodied wine, and then I can't wait for the heavy cigar after that. Cause something about the way the tannins in the wine and the salt from the steak, that when you hit that coffee, that espresso, those dark chocolates, milk chocolates, creaminess of a cigar after, I don't know, it just does something for me. So yeah, that's pretty much my thing. I am trying to. Oh, I'll give you a couple more. Sorry, Pierre Ferrand cognac, the Grand Cru. I think it's called the Ombre. It's a very floral cognac. It's got very citrusy cognac. I love that with an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper. Something about that works really well for me. Give that a shot. Cognac with an Ecuadorian Sumatra. Um, binder or wrapper. And then rum. Rum's another good one. I think rum. So you're the bitter guy. I like that bitterness in my cigar, but I like to complement it with sweetness a lot or saltiness a lot. So that rum, an aged rum, dark aged rum I love that as well. And I'll even have that with a Connecticut shade. Because that now you're bringing that creamy cedar with the sweetness of the rum and those cinnamon spices, those baker spices of the rum come out really well. So yeah, I think I gave you guys a lot more to bargain with there than you bargained for as far as pairings. So I'll end that segment and go on to our second third, which Zeke's already completely done with, and I should be, but I'm a little slower smoker. But
That's okay.
what do we think,
Um,
gentlemen?
you know what,
Maestranza.
Carl, I'll let you go. I'll let you go first.
Well, I'm definitely getting the pepper flavor,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm also getting almost like I want to say kind of like that floral flavor, like you touched on about the
Mm.
with the citrus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm getting something like that.
Mm.
I could be wrong, but
Hey man, what you taste is what you
yeah,
taste. Mm-hmm.
but it is very good.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy this. This is definitely my go-to.
Mm.
And now we're seeing about your unwrapping
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I saw the live crowd when he said, "Let the glue heat up." Oh my God. But that's real. You let that heat get to that glue, and it's a vegetable-based glue, so it's non-toxic, anything like that. But it starts to loosen it up a little, and it comes a little easier to take off. Um,
Maybe.
Maybe. See,
This bottom
it's,
band.
It's exactly doing exactly what I said, Skip.
It's like gorilla glue, Skip. I mean, I get it, bro, but I don't because I don't want to break. There we go. I got it loose. It's like going out in the clubs. Remember going to the club and you get the wristband? You couldn't get it off. The old school one.
It's on there tomorrow.
Right. Everybody knows where you were the night before.
Mm-hmm. So what do you got, Zeke? What was your second, third like?
My second third was Cedar Forward, which I do enjoy as long as it's not like overbearing, right? I got some notes of coffee, like, but more like a light roast coffee where it's more airy and
Yes.
Has that floral type, a little bit of a floral base to
Mhm.
it. Some creaminess. Cocoa powder, not so much chocolate, but more
Cocoa.
cocoa.
Hmm.
And then I'm kind of weird with some of these things, but I do like to let my free smoke, as I call it, roam. People blow it away and they move it out of. I actually breathe that in, and I,
Waft in it, huh?
yeah,
Yeah.
because there was a very deep, dark, like semi-sweet chocolate in there
Okay.
that once you take your pull, you have a bit of that plus the other flavor compounds, and it really went very, very, very. I was actually sad that it went away. I'm just now starting this final third, and I'll be back with that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got the cocoa powder, like hefty cocoa powder. Um cedar cedar for me was still there, definitely more woody. Like you know, just like a more, I wouldn't say oaky, but just a woodier flavor. And then I think in that second third, the baker spices really kicked in. So if you retrohale that right now, you're gonna find that nutmeg, clove, cinnamon, baker spice mixture, uh, which is my favorite thing in cigars. Quite honestly, if you give me a baker spice forward cigar, I'm smoking the shit out of that thing. So yeah, that was my experience. Little semi sweetness for sure, but I think the baker spices really took over in there in a really good way, a really balanced way to go with that slight coffee, like you said. I definitely was like a more floral coffee with that cocoa powder, and then for me, beautiful bouquet of baker spices throughout the retro hail. You know, so um, we're gonna say goodbye to Carl. say, say, Carl, it's a pleasure to be in this with you, part of the Blend and Bond team. Thank you for sharing your experiences. And we're going to do this definitely more often and get better at it and have some more microphones and have a bigger crowd. Eventually, we'll want to do these podcasts live so that we can have the live people commenting. The best part about cigars, in my opinion, is the community that's created. Now, within a brick and mortar, that community happens naturally because people are face to face. On the internet, it's a little different, but we have some ideas to create that bond with our cigar online community, and I think you guys are gonna really enjoy what we have in stored in the future. Thanks, Carl, for coming down.
Oh, thank you for having me. Enjoyed it.
Mhm.
And very educational, I have to say.
All right, awesome.
All right.
Hell yeah. Zeke, we got some couple things to talk about here. We got some industry stuff. All right. Recently we stumbled upon the CSWS.
Yes.
The CSWS, which stands for the Cigar Smoking World Championships, right? We didn't know there were smoking world championships.
No clue.
I don't know if I was living under a rock or maybe it's just more of a European thing.
Yeah.
I know some people that do it here, but not so much. But I just want to run through it quickly. We'll talk about it because we are running out of time. But phenomenal idea.
Absolutely.
And just to give you a little idea of what the Cigar Smoking World Championships is, it's not the most cigars you can smoke in like a 2-hour span or 3-hour span. It's not that. You get one cigar. All these cigars, and now it's sponsored by Oliva. So they make the specific cigar for the Cigar Smoking World Championships. The band is fixated in the same position, and it's also glued to the cigar so it doesn't move, right? Same vegetable glue that keeps the band on, right? And essentially, you are trying to smoke that cigar for as long as possible without burning that band,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
How cool is that?
It might be the craziest thing I ever stumbled upon.
Really?
You know, because you see a lot of stuff, a lot of
Mhm.
cool. We got
Mhm.
hot dog eating championships, we got wings. But to see a cigar smoking championship, I was like, what the
Yeah.
hell is this? And why have I not known about it in
Yep.
all these years? Never seen. You don't see. There's no TV coverage. Obviously, it's tobacco,
Yeah.
but even amongst conversation, it doesn't come up.
No, not so much. Not around here. Now, I did once we talked about it, and I told you I was like, I put it in my notes. I was like, give me a day. I'm gonna do a little deep dive in this.
Yeah.
And man, I looked at past champions
Yeah.
and who's won multiple championships and
Yeah.
who holds the record, and some of the rules. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna run through them real quickly. And I probably won't get them all. I just started doing the deep dive on this, but I think I got it. So first things first, everyone gets a cigar. All right, you get to pick your cigar out of the box. It's a defect. You could switch it out for another one. All right, everyone gets a match box with 2 matches in it. You get your cutter. Everyone has 1 minute to cut their cigar, which is more than enough. That's ample time to cut your
Right.
cigar. Then you have 1 minute to light your cigar. Now, don't forget, you get 2 matches. So if you're used to just lighting with a torch and haven't used matches before, and you want to enter the Cigar Smoking World Championships, you should start practicing with 2 matches,
Because there is an art to it.
right? And that minute, to me, is actually probably one of the most important minutes when I'm thinking about this, right?
Right.
Because you got 2 matches to light it, and you go through those 2 matches and you did not light it correctly,
You're done.
then you might be screwed. You might be out for the count.
Yeah.
There's no relights on your cigars. For the first 10 or 20 minutes, there's not even talking.
Right.
You cannot talk, right? You're puffing your cigar. You're not allowed to ash your cigar for the first 40 minutes, right? I got ash in front of me
Right.
that I didn't even mean to knock over.
I'm wearing
He-
ash.
and let alone go 40 minutes.
Right.
But I guess I was thinking about it at the shop yesterday while I was smoking a cigar. I was like, if I'm paying attention to that, I could probably do that. And I'm guessing a lot of people do the vertical hold
Right.
in between their puffs so that the weight of the ash isn't hanging over, right? If you do drop your ash within the first 20 minutes, there's a penalty that's time added onto your cigar smoking. In 30 minutes, there's less time. If it falls within the 40 minutes, there's less time. So it's like whatever. Let's just call it 15, 10, and 5 minutes added. I think it's different, but that's the thing. After the 40 minutes, you can ash your cigar, right? Now, you have to smoke your cigar down to the band, but not burn the band.
Right.
If you burn the band,
You lose.
there's also a penalty.
Yeah.
This penalty is like 15 minutes added to your time.
Right.
So you're probably not going to win if you smoke your band. So it goes to the final person is smoked that cigar up to the band and not touching it,
Right.
and there you go. And you get your qualifiers and just qualifiers for this.
Yeah.
And eventually world champions with this. It was pretty cool.
It is cool.
So we're going to talk about a lot of that. I even searched to apply to be a judge so that we could run some of these things. Got some grief with the Cigar Smoking World Championship websites. There's a lot of broken links on there and a lot of typos. So if we want to get this thing bigger, you guys are going to have to address that. Hit me up. I'll help.
Yeah, as my nephew would say, that's minus 300 points on the website. Okay, minus 300.
Yep. So other industry news that we had. This week was a big week, actually, a very huge week for the cigar industry in the positive.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 things happened, and they happened back to back. And it comes off the heels of the inauguration of our new president. And, he is very cigar positive, pro cigar. And I know from what I've seen of talks of the PCA boards and stuff like that, and you could go on the PCA YouTube page, and all of their conversations are on there in podcast form. and you're listening to Nestor Plasencia and Eladio Diaz and all these people talk about the cigar industry, Rocky Patel, and everyone was exuberantly positive about the new president helping the cigar industry. And that happened right away in the first week.
Mhm.
So one FDA ruling that was taken away was the characterizing of distinct or characteristic flavors of cigars. So infused cigars, flavored cigars, acid cubas, Tatianas, tabacs. There was a ban on those in a lot of states. You couldn't sell a Fat Bottom Betty in Massachusetts and things like that. The FDA basically was saying you can't sell flavored cigars because kids are going to smoke them. Well, I've been smoking for a long time, and I've never seen a kid grab a premium hand rolled cigar and say,
Not
"I want that,"
once
because it
in my life.
tastes like, you know,
Right.
whatever the heck it tastes
Right.
like.
Right.
You know, so the FDA pulled that away. Now the next thing that happened, and the FDA, and the court system's really been pressing the cigar industry. And last year there was a big win where it was ruled that the FDA was not going to oversee the cigar industry, which was a huge, huge win. But as expected, the courts appealed that. All right. And, then here we go. The PCA had,
Right.
and their board and their lawyers and litigators and everyone that's in lobbying for premium hand rolled cigars, had to go back to work. And just 2 days ago, the courts withdrew that appeal. So we don't have to worry about the premium cigar industry being overseen by the FDA. Now, some people are like, well, wouldn't you want it overseen by the FDA, and quality and just safe for people? No, 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 no. This is an art. You can't regulate art.
Right.
All right. This is a premium handmade product with one ingredient, tobacco leaves. And if you heard us throughout this, we're talking about all sorts of different flavors and all sorts of different notes that you get and an experience. And it's really just one thing, tobacco. Right. And the people that create these cigars are artists, artisans. This is an artisanal product. So you need that creative freedom to make these works of art.
Correct.
And at the end of the day, somehow, I still believe, even though prices of cigars every year have been going up, and that's mainly due to, transportation costs, fuel costs, things like that, all raising. So obviously that has to be reflected on the price of cigars. But really, at the end of the day, you could still buy $7, $8, $9, $10 cigars, or buy bundles of cigars that cost you $3 or $4, which is mind blowing to me for
Right.
how many processes are involved in creating this product. So to still have it that cheap is phenomenal. And again, a big win by the cigar industry by the courts appealing or removing that appeal from the FDA.
Absolutely.
Mhm, mhm.
And the irony of the FDA, and we're not gonna rabbit hole here, but these are the same folks that allow fluoride in children's toothpaste. And if you don't know what fluoride does to your children, Google it. Okay. But it's just so ironic, right? You can't have flavors. You can't. What? It just doesn't make any sense. But like you said, it's an artistry. This is something that like you said, there's a process to this.
Mhm.
Picking the right fields, the right seeds, the proper location, volcanic, all these different compounds that come into it. And if somebody wants to soak their leaves in cocoa beans or in coffee beans, then let them.
Mm.
I mean, what are we doing wrong here?
Mhm.
You know? But
Y-
big win for the tobacco industry, and congratulations to all those states that can now get Fat Bottom Betties for sale in a cigar and not on the street corner.
Yeah. And we're, like I said, running out of time, and we'll get better with our timing and everything. We had some technical issues at the beginning that started a few minutes late, so we're running a few minutes late. But I want to ask the last thing for you because you're the only one that can answer this right now.
Uh-oh.
Um, It's just about the final third of the cigar because no one else is there right now.
Losers.
So, yeah.
The pepper has ramped up.
Hmm.
And I love it because you know me, I love a good cayenne black pepper compound. I'm getting them both. I'm getting cayenne in the back of the tongue, black pepper out the nostrils, deep espresso, deep, nice espresso. Not so much chocolate, not so much woody, just a little bit of natural sweetness in there.
Okay.
But just thoroughly enjoying it. Shout out to Roma Craft, you
Mhm.
guys.
Yeah, the only thing I'll add, and I haven't got to the fully to the final third, is I've noticed a uptick in a leathery taste.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
you know, you got that wood that I was talking about kind of transformed into that leather. Phenomenal cigar. We're gonna pretty much wrap it up right there. This is the Blend and Bond podcast for the Blend and Bond Company. You can find us at blendandbond.co, blendandbond.co on Instagram, blendandbond.co on TikTok, blendandbond.co on Facebook. Find us. We're going to be doing a lot more of these and a lot of really cool things that we have in the works that we can't wait to share with you.
Absolutely.
And ultimately, our goal here is to build a cigar community, cigar online community. So there's going to be things that we're going to be doing unique that I haven't seen done before. I don't know if they'll work, but we
Oh,
got
no.
ideas and we're going to try them.
It's gonna work.
Oh yeah. And thank you very much, Zeke. It was a pleasure doing this
Absolutely,
with
my
you for the
friend.
first time.
As always.
And we'll see you guys soon. Thank you.